Hey guys, welcome back. So far we have covered the Java thread fundamentals, how we create a thread, how we start a thread, how a thread gets executed. And in this video, we will talk about different thread states and we will also talk about the life cycle of a thread. So let's get started. Let's now talk about thread states. What is a thread state? We know threads are scheduled by the operating system depending on the availability of CPU cores. So it's not that all the threads are running at all times. Some threads are running at any given point of time while other threads may be in the waiting state or maybe in some other state. So a thread state represents what a particular thread is doing at any given point of time. So when we talk about the Java threads, these are the thread states which are defined for a Java thread. So a thread can be in new state, runnable, which means it will be scheduled by the scheduler. It can be running, it can be blocked, maybe blocking for some other resource, some other logs. A thread can be in waiting state, sleeping state, or when it completes the execution either normally or abruptly, it will be in the terminated state. Besides that, there are many more states which JVM needs. So for example, this is a subset of states which are maintained by JVM. So at any given point of time, JVM maintains whether it is a new thread, whether it is in native mode, means it is running or executing the native code. In VM means it is in the Java VM, or in Java, whether it is running the Java code or blocked. So this is just a subset of states which are required by the JVM defined on the JVM level. And these are the states which are defined for Java threads. So this just gives us the idea about different states that a thread can be in at any given point of time. All right. Let's move on and talk about the thread lifecycle. Because there are different states, so obviously a thread will transition from one state to another state. And this basically defines this life cycle of a thread. So when we create a new thread object, the thread object is in the new state. It is not running yet. When we call the start method, when JVM executes the start method, it moves the state to runnable. So in the runnable state, the thread is not running, but it is waiting for the thread scheduler to be picked and executed by the CPU core, for example. Now, when the thread is picked by the thread scheduler, it is in the running state. In this state, the thread is actually running on one of the CPU cores. It is executing the code of the run method. So this is the running state. Now, from the running state, the thread can be moved to the sleeping state, and it generally happens when we call the sleep method of the thread. We haven't covered some of the common methods which we will cover shortly, but there is a sleep method that we can call to put the thread temporarily in a sleep state. So when the thread is in sleeping state, it will not do anything. It will not be executed by the CPU. But once it is out of that sleep, it will be put back to the runnable queue, which means it will wait for the scheduler. And once the scheduler picks it up, it will again start running. Now waiting is another state. So what happens, maybe a thread is waiting for a condition and it generally implemented with the help of wait notify, which we will cover in one of the future videos. So as a result of wait calls, the thread will be put in the waiting state, and once the waiting period is over, it will be put back on the runnable queue where it will wait for the scheduler. And if the thread is done, if it has finished the execution, the thread is terminated. When a thread is terminated, we cannot restart the thread. All right, it is terminated. Even if we call the start method on the same object, it will throw an exception. So once a thread is finished, we cannot reuse it. All right. Then we have the blocked state, which means let's say a thread is doing some kind of IO operation where it is waiting for some IO calls, or maybe it is waiting for some logs using logs explicitly or by executing the synchronized block. In that case, the thread is moved to the blocked state. And once it is out of the blocked state, maybe it got the log or maybe it is now able to proceed further, it will be put back to the runnable queue. So in all these states, whether it is sleeping, waiting or blocked, when the wait time is over, the thread will always be put back to the runnable queue. It does not start immediately. It will wait for the scheduler. It will wait for the thread scheduling process to pick it up so that it gets a chance to run on the CPU core. All right. So this is the overall life cycle of a thread. As you know, we have not covered all the methods that we mentioned on this slide, like sleep, wait, notify, lock, and everything. So some of the methods we will cover in the next video, which will be on the common thread methods. So I will see you in that video, and that's it for now. Thanks for watching.